loss and the weight of it all. The first light of dawn barely filtered through the thick canopy of trees. The jungle was still, like the calm before the storm. But inside me, everything was far from still. Every step felt heavier than the last, like I was walking through mud, my boots sinking into a ground that was no longer forgiving. I was numb. I could feel the weight of the loss in my chest. And yet I still moved forward. Because that's what you do, right? You move forward, even when the world falls apart around you. War changes you. It doesn't just kill you physically. It destroys the part of you that believes things can get better. It kills your hope, your innocence, your will to dream. I used to be a kid from the States, full of ambition, with a future ahead of me. Now, I don't even know who I am anymore. I've lost count of the faces, the voices, the laughs of the men I came with, the ones who are now gone. And sometimes, it feels like I'm losing myself, too. Yesterday, God, I still can't shake the images from my head. The ambush came out of nowhere. 1 minute we were moving through the trees, following the plan like we've done 100 times before. The next minute, it was chaos. The gunfire was deafening, the smell of smoke and blood choking the air. I couldn't see where it was coming from, just flashes of movement in the jungle. Men yelling, the screeching of rounds flying past. It's like time stopped for a second. And in that second, everything I knew was ripped away. In that split second, the world we had known, the routines we had held onto, seemed to crumble. I could hear my heartbeat, pounding louder than the sounds of gunfire. It was as though I was living in slow motion, each moment dragging on for what felt like hours. The screams of my comrades, the rapid clattering of rifles, the distant sound of explosions, it all blended into one deafening roar. It was impossible to think clearly, to make sense of anything. My instincts screamed for me to run, to hide, but I couldn't. I was frozen in place. When the dust settled, I saw him, David, my best friend since boot camp. He was right beside me 1 second, and then, gone. He didn't even have time to scream. Just, gone. His body was lying there, in the dirt, blood soaking through his uniform. I knelt beside him, but there was nothing I could do. His eyes were wide open, staring at me, like he was trying to say something. But no words came, nothing but silence. The shock was overwhelming. My mind couldn't process it. He had been so full of life, so full of promise. How could he be gone? How could the person I'd shared my most vulnerable moments with, someone who knew my every fear, my every dream, just cease to exist in an instant? I couldn't understand it. I didn't know how to cope. I didn't know how to make sense of this new reality where David was just gone. I remember touching his shoulder, like maybe, just maybe, I could bring him back. But I couldn't. Nothing could. His body was still warm. But his soul? That was already gone. I didn't know how to react. How do you process that kind of loss? How do you look at the lifeless body of the guy you've shared everything with, your fears, your hopes, your worst moments, and then just keep going? Jackson came up beside me, his face stone cold. He didn't say anything at first. He just put a hand on my shoulder. A simple gesture, but it felt like the weight of the world was in it. "We've gotta keep moving, Ben," he said. His voice was steady, but I could hear the cracks in it. We all heard the cracks. But what else could we do? I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to hear anything. I wanted to scream. I wanted to break down and let the world swallow me whole. But Jackson was right. We had to keep moving. David wouldn't want us to stop. That's what we tell ourselves, right? That's the lie we tell ourselves to keep going. The night after the ambush, when the rest of the camp had settled down, I couldn't sleep. I tried, but I kept hearing David's voice in my head, seeing his face in my mind. I could still smell the smoke in the air, feel the tension that had gripped all of us. It wasn't just the fear of the enemy I was dealing with. It was the fear that this could all happen again at any moment. That no one was truly safe. I kept turning over the same questions in my mind, asking myself what was the point of all this? Why had I signed up for this in the first place? I had told myself I was doing it for something bigger, for the good of my country. But now it all felt meaningless. But there was no time to dwell on these feelings. At the crack of dawn, we were back on our feet. Another day, another mission. The routine had become so automatic, so ingrained in us, that we moved without thinking. The orders came in, and we followed them, because that's what we had been trained to do. No questions, no hesitation. Jackson came up to me as we packed up our gear. "You good, Ben?" he asked. He knew the answer, but he had to ask anyway. That's what we do. We check on each other, even when we don't have the answers. I nodded, but I wasn't good. None of us were good. But that's the thing about this place. This damn war, it doesn't care. The world doesn't stop for you to mourn. It keeps turning, and if you don't keep up, you get left behind. So, I pulled myself together. I had to, because if I didn't, if I let myself fall apart, what the hell would be left of me? The guys who died, they wouldn't want that. They'd want me to keep moving, to keep fighting. I owed it to them to stay in the fight, to make sure their sacrifices meant something. And so, I stood up, I took a deep breath and followed Jackson out into the jungle. Because that's what we do. We keep going, even when it feels like the whole world is falling apart. We keep moving forward, one step at a time. We do it for them. We do it for us. But inside, it was different now. I wasn't just fighting the enemy anymore. I was fighting myself. I was fighting to keep a part of me alive that this war was determined to destroy. And as long as I kept moving forward, maybe, just maybe, I could still find that part of me again. The jungle stretched out before me, its dark shadows promising no safety. Every step felt like I was walking deeper into something darker, more dangerous, but it didn't matter. What mattered now wasn't the mission, the orders, or even survival. What mattered was that I didn't give in to this war, this madness. I had to keep going. Not just for me, but for all of us. Every soldier who had fallen. Every soldier who still had to fight. If you've ever found yourself in a battle with your own inner demons, trying to keep going when everything feels like it's falling apart, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share your story with me. And if you've been touched by this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more. We're all in this fight together. No matter what battles we face.